Those injuries are going to stick to his head the entire fight.
This is Jonathan Agger, Fifth Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Sergio Mora, who of course is going to be on that DAZN broadcast tomorrow night for Bam against Sonny Edwards for the unified flyweight championship of the world. Sergio, not often do we get fights in boxing like this. Two undefeated world champions, the best in the division. Boxing I think wins tomorrow night.
It really does win, and I'll tell you what, it's number one versus number two, and it should be that way. The Ring magazine should actually be vouching for this fight because it is number one, number two, and I love to see two undefeated young fighters go at it like this because it's the best against the best. IBF champ versus a WBO champ, two movers, a boxer puncher in Bam, and a pure boxer in Sonny Edwards. This is a fantastic matchup that goes for the distance in the long run.
We saw Sonny Edwards trying, he goaded Bam Rodriguez during the press conference yesterday about various things. In your career, did you ever have an opponent who was talking stuff to you in the press conference? What does it do to you as a fighter? Does it fire you up? Does it push you off? What does it do?
First of all, you're a real pro at this because you didn't give up the mic. That's the rule number one. Awesome.
Testament, yeah.
That's a testament, my man. You know what? I've had smack talkers, but not like Sonny. Sonny is a class A plus. Sonny knows what he's doing, and I think if you give into that, you're actually giving into what he wants. So I think Bam did the right thing because Bam is not a talker. He does his talking in the ring. It's kind of like Anthony Joshua when he was up against Big Baby Miller. He couldn't compete with Big Baby Miller. So the landlord and all that stuff, he just kept it quiet. But the second time around, for this Day of Reckoning, he's been doing more talking, and I think Joshua, it's not his style. So let Sonny do the talking, let Bam do the fight, and I think it's totally fine, but it sells the fight.
Obviously last week in San Francisco before the fight, everyone was saying that Devin Haney will probably win a decision, but Regis Pro Race, if he can land something, well, people thought it'd be a lot closer than it was. This fight, how do you see it?
Well, I think I said it on air. I kept using the word like masterpiece. I said pitching a no-hitter. That's an analogy in baseball. And he won every round. He kept Regis to he broke records of the most least landed punches. That's a masterpiece. That's Picasso right there. And fans hate to hear that. But whenever I'm watching it, and Sean Porter, another former champion, was watching it, we praised Devin Haney for what we were watching. It's so difficult to win every single minute of every single round and keeping a champion moving up in weight from throwing punches. So it was just a flawless performance of Devin Haney, a pound-for-pound performance, and that's the reason he climbed down in the rankings in the pound-for-pound list.
In terms of this fight, how do you see it going? Do you feel like it's going to be a close-knit affair, or do you feel like one man can dominate this?
I think it's going to be a close-knit affair. Both of them are boxers, but if you're going to say who has the punching, it's going to be Bam Rodriguez, a boxer-puncher. But me and Sonny Edwards have similar styles. I didn't have much power. We use the upper body movement, our legs, and I gave punchers every issue you could think of. Sonny's going to give issues to Bam Rodriguez. Forget the confidence, forget everything else that Sonny's been talking about, forget the injuries Bam's been going through with the jaw and the hand. This is just stylistically a headache for anybody. Sonny Edwards is going to give him a difficult fight. This fight goes to the scorecards.
So you mentioned the jaw. Is that enough time to recover? I mean, from what you've been speaking to Bam and his team, do you feel like that could play a factor tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely. The hand could play a factor. The jaw could play a factor. Even if he doesn't tweak or hurt his jaw, he's going to be self-conscious about getting hit in that jaw. I've never broken my jaw, but I've injured it really badly. And believe me, it's in your head the entire time. When you injure your hand, it's in your head the entire time, and you don't want to throw it as many times or as aggressively as you normally do it. So whether Bam is in control of this fight or not, those injuries are going to stick to his head the entire fight.
So moving on, actually, before we move on, you were telling me off camera you like the look of Peter McGrail, former Olympian, obviously. What have you seen from him, and what do you expect to see from him tomorrow night?
Well, I flew in here yesterday, and I thought I was just doing the main card, and then they told me I'm doing the undercard now, and with Barry Jones, and I'm excited to work with him. Yeah. And I started studying up on him really quick, and the first thing that pops up on this Peter kid Wow. That's the first thing I said, is like, this kid is the goods. Fast hands. It's a nice pop to his power. Counter puncher. You can see that he still has that amateur style, but he's already evolving into the professional style, slowing things down, slowing his combinations down. This kid's the goods, man. This kid's the goods, honestly. I think he's special. A Luke Campbell type special.
And one guy I wanted to talk about from last week, I think everyone in that arena was so impressed with Andy Cruz. What did you make of his performance, and how fast do you think he can be pushed? Because he completely destroyed Stratham last week.
The first fight that I saw with Andy Cruz, I was like, okay, but normally amateur standouts don't impress the first fight or first couple of fights. That last fight with Andy Cruz was a complete performance. So everyone there at the arena was like, wow, they were talking about him. I had guests that flew in and says, man, who was that Cuban kid? So yeah, he made a splash, and that's what you want to see on a big card like that. And I think if he can take that fight, that confidence, and go into another fight, and he's fighting guys with a lot of experience, veterans, world title challengers already. If he can do that already in his second, third pro fight, he can be moved up Lomachenko style that quick.
Moving on to next week, the Day of Reckoning in Saudi Arabia. First of all, you're going to be there. Obviously, it's on DAZN. Okay. What's your thoughts? What's the more risky fight, Joshua Wallin or Wilder against Parker?
I think Parker's going to give. I think Parker's going to give Deontay Wilder headaches, because he's been on the championship level. He's a mover. He has enough power to get your respect, but he has the legs to move around. And Wilder has difficulty, tracking down boxer punchers. Not to say out of Island's not going to be a difficult fight either, but I just think Joseph Parker has the experience, enough power, the strength, and I think he's going to have Deontay Wilder's number for frustration. That's going to be a difficult fight for him.
As you hear, the program's about to start in 3 minutes, so just quickly, Deontay Wilder made some comments suggesting that Joshua's mentally weak. What's your thoughts on what he said, and where do you see Joshua right now? Obviously, he's linked up with Ben Davison. It's another change in trainer. What do you think?
Listen, I'm a huge fan of Ben Davison. I think he's one of the best trainers in boxing. So anytime a fighter goes to him, I'm not going to say anything. But Anthony Joshua already has gone from trainer to trainer to trainer, and that's not a good look. Anytime you have a boxer getting that many trainer changes, it's not the trainer, it's you, it's your mentality. So mental weakness at the tricky subject to touch on, especially with mental health issues. But fighters can use it. Fighters know when another fighter doesn't have it mentally. So I could understand what Deontay Wilder sees, and I would exploit it if I was Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua has a lot of unturned stones, a lot of questions to answer.
All right, Sergio, appreciate your time. Obviously tomorrow night, live on DAZN, Bam Rodriguez against Sonny Edwards. Appreciate it.